Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to get right on into it. We've got the Honkai Star Rail version 3.4 special program, and this is the one that has a lot of interesting things in it, right? The release of Phainon, the release of the Fate collab, and apparently some of the most predatory stuff the game has ever seen. And this is something that I want to get to relatively quickly, so that's why we'll be jumping around this 1 hour live stream, skipping, a lot of the yap, just getting to the important timestamps, because this right here, sorry, not Tectone, this right here is one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in the gacha space. This limited time benefit, this actual spending event that's gonna be in Honkai Star Rail. But stay tuned, we'll get to that in just a second. So we'll start off with the good stuff in the patch first, then get to the fucking nasty, like whatever the fuck this Firefly skin is. Yeah, you might not have realized this is a fucking skin because of the fact that these two Sams look exactly the same. Let's start off with the good stuff first, like the version trailer. Okay. They just need to put the Honkai Star Rail app into the garbage. Yeah, if that doesn't happen, this live stream is a failure. They just need to take this right here and put it right into the garbage.
Kamigami yo, goran kudasai. Onparos wa shouri o osame. 再送機が間もなく訪れます。しかし、本当にそうでしょうか。最近、
Why did that look like it was Pinakani? Did that just kind of look like that was like the dreams? Has this all just been taking place in Penacony the entire time? Is that going to be the reveal of the 3.4 story? It was Amphorius was all a dream. If that is the case, that's kind of based. Gonna be honest.
まぶたの裏をよぎるんだ。最後の一人になったとしても再創生の偉業を成し遂げてください。新世界は必ず訪れる。
Did they hire the ZZZ music team for this? Like, what is bro out here killing Mara monsters with crazy dubstep?
黎明を灯す。星々を燃やし尽くす。
Ah, I see. The first ever Penaconian Holy Grail War. Okay, that's how they're incorporating the Fate characters. Gotcha. And by the way, unlike the other fake Honkai Star Rail CCs that have never even heard of Fate until this collab, I've actually seen Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Feel. All 3 movies. The only Fate I haven't seen is the original one. That one's, I heard, is just a piece of shit anyway, so it doesn't matter. Have you watched Prisma Ilia? No. I don't want to. Okay. I'm kind of only interested in seeing where Unlimited Blade Works is. That's kind of the only thing that I want to see. Excalibur is like boring at this point, but Unlimited Blade Works is pretty much the most badass move. Oh, they have Coup. Wait, so they're gonna have Lancer in the story, but not on banner. Saber! They should at least have made Lancer a 4-star. Which would have been, like, fitting in the lore. Like, because he just always dies in everything. Show more of the Fate collab. Wait, go back. Stop showing this boring shit that nobody cares about. Go back to the Fate collab. Go back to the Holy Grail War. Nobody cares about this. Oh, here we go. Why does Lancer, the character that's not even on the banner, have the most voice lines out of every Fate unit? To be fair, Lancer's probably dying again. That's probably true. He is probably gonna die in this as well.
任せよ。
私見ました。壊滅。これにて完成。宝石の余震をもって来世に暁を。
In a lot of ways, it almost feels like there's too much stuff going on in this trailer. Yeah, I feel like in a lot of ways, the Fate collab should maybe have been moved to a time where there was like a filler patch in the main story. You might think that's a crazy take to have, but showing two different stories like this that both kind of like have their own very, very distinct plot lines and a lot of crazy stuff should be happening made this trailer seem kind of like messy. It made it seem like kind of messy and also like a little bit like now the focus is really split. And some people might be like happy, right? Oh, there's going to be so much content in this patch to play, but it's also like the hype is going to be split in so many different directions. And I don't know. Now what the fuck is going to be in patch 3.5, bro? He looks okay though. Okay, come on, move it into the trash. Okay, so clearly they're not going to do that. Now, let's skip all the yap. Yep, because they're just talking. They're just talking. They're just talking. Now let's get to 1350. Apparently, because that's where they show the skip button.
That's right. Aside from the major updates too, as I've written, the long-awaited skip dialogue feature, which was previously announced, is finally going live in version 3.4. Story dialogue can now be skipped by section, with plot summaries and the main characters that appear in each section displayed along the way.
I want to see how much it actually skips.
Now you can choose the pace of storytelling based on your own preferences.
Thank God.
In version 3.6, there'll also be a story recap function.
Okay, we already know all about this shit from the prior video that we made where it showed us the exact same screenshots. They did absolutely nothing different from what they actually showed in that prior developer radio update. It's the same exact screens. You learn nothing new. There's no additional exposure from the update. In fact, the developer update post actually gave more info than the live stream, which is like the opposite of what should be happening. All right, now we got apparently a Phainon animated short. Don't care. Let's get into his actual kit then. Let's see what he does. Okay, he's God. I don't think anyone cares about his base form. Yeah, I don't think anyone gives a shit about that. Oh, okay, here we go. Why does bro have like, why is bro like Roblox? He has like cubes.
What in the world happened to Phainon to make him change this much?
This is nothing like the warm, sunny person we all know. Now he seems strange and...
Don't care. Alright, what does his kit do? Did they ever go into his kit?
Of Amphorius. Even Cypher, who barely ever showed her face, used to call him Little Deliverer Boy.
Okay, no, they don't. They just keep yapping. Alright, let's check out the new area.
It was a small, remote village. Nothing flashy, but far away from the chaos.
Ooh, sounds like a real peaceful place.
It looks like Leeway. Looks like,
It was. And even though the village was small, everyone got along really well. There were also beautiful rivers and mountains, and even a forest.
Okay, now it looks like Subaru.
That forest was home to all kinds of little fairies.
I'm pretty sure they took assets from Subaru to make this. I guarantee that's from Genshin Impact. I guarantee like 90% of this is from Genshin Impact.
I'd go exploring the woods and visit those two fairies.
Bro.
When I wasn't
bro.
exploring, I'd go play with my friends by the sea. We pretended to be heroes from the old stories and practiced our swordsmanship.
Bro, they're just recycling their games into each other. This is like...
When we got tired, we went to lie down in the wheat fields until we got called home for dinner.
No strife, no invaders, or any of that deliverance crisis stuff? Seems like a complete paradise.
The wheat fields look gorgeous too. Lying there surrounded by golden waves of wheat with the breeze
Okay, I know. Okay, I've already seen enough. Yeah, you're just showing me Genshin Impact again. Who cares? All right, now let's look at the Phainon Kit.
Now let's take a look at how Phainon performs in battle.
You got it. I'll first show up in the familiar form everyone knows. When using my skill, I'll deal damage to one designated enemy and adjacent targets.
Okay.
The use of my skill also grants me core flames.
Bro, I hate when the VAs describe. The use of my skill grants me the core flames, and with the core flames, I give myself a special buff. And then once I give myself the special buff, I'll be able to activate my special ultimate. And then when I'm in my ultimate form, I'll be able to use my ability to deal massive amounts of damage to the enemy.
Once I've collected enough of them, I can activate my ultimate.
Oh, I didn't even know that's how his kit worked. I was just guessing.
Wait, so core flames only come from using your skill?
Not at all. Phainon can also gain core flames when he's selected as a target by a teammate or enemy ability. If he is the target of a teammate's ability, Phainon will deal even more damage.
When I use my ultimate, I'll create a territory and transform.
After transforming, Phainon powers up massively. Teammates temporarily retreat and can't take action, while he faces the enemy head-on with newfound strength.
He literally 1v9s. So his goal is to just collect every single buff possible from his team and then go 1v9. Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of badass. I'll be real with you. That feels kind of badass, right? It's just... He just says, fuck everybody else. Like, go away, like, go fuck off, team. And then just goes 1v9.
All alone? That sounds way too risky.
No worries. All the talents and buffs from Phainon's teammates still stay active to provide him with much-needed support.
I mean, if they disappeared, yeah, this character would be unplayable.
Exactly. After using the core flames to transform, I have access to the powers of 3 kinds of titans: Creation, Calamity, and Foundation, each with a brand new ability.
Okay.
Care to elaborate on that?
Tapping into the power of the Creation Titans, I can deal damage to one designated enemy and adjacent targets. Calling upon the power of the Calamity Titans, I'll enter a special state called Soul Scorch. In this state, I'll force all enemies to immediately take action, during which I receive reduced damage, and each hit I take builds up the Soul Scorch stack. Once all enemies have taken action, I retaliate, dealing damage to all enemies and then unleashing multiple instances of damage on one random enemy.
So he just has like every single mechanic in the game. He's got a taunt, he's got a counter, he's got a blast attack, he's got a single target attack. What else does he have?
Heads up. The more Soul Scorch stacks he's got, the stronger that counterattack hits.
Using these 2 abilities also grants me an exclusive charge called Scourge, which fuels my 3rd ability. With the power of the Foundation Titans, I dispel all debuffs.
Okay, he's also an erudition character and a debuff nullifier. And a buff nullifier.
On myself, then use Scourge Charge to deal bounce damage. If I've maxed out the consumable Scourge Charge, I also slam all enemies with extra damage.
Okay, so he just does everything in the game.
Once all his actions have been used up, Phainon will unleash one final blow, hitting all enemies before removing the territory. Phainon's technique is pretty unique too. Upon casting it, Phainon instantly strikes all enemies in a certain radius. If they're normal enemies, they're immediately wiped out without even triggering a battle.
Okay, so he's just Acheron, but in an AoE. These guys retarded. Wait, he's literally got every... Guys, you want to know what the next broken character's technique is going to be? They're going to combine Fei Zhao's dash with this. And so essentially, they're going to turn into a fast-moving black hole that will just instantly evaporate enemies when you walk into them. That is going to be the next power creep unit. They're going to dash as fast as Fei Zhao, and then black holes suck everybody in and just blow them up. And so the meta is going to become, you just go into the overworld, use that unit, and then just run around, and that's how you'll clear every enemy on the map. You won't even have to use an ability like this. Don't give them ideas. Brother, they turned Acheron's insta-kill into a hydrogen bomb.
Wait, all enemies? That's nuts.
Of course, power comes with a cost. This technique consumes 2 technique points.
That's just annoying, because can't you just infinitely craft the technique things? Like, isn't that just annoying for the player? You can just infinitely craft them, right? So this just means you have to spend more time crafting them. Which is just, like, okay, like, but it's literally just annoying. All right, whatever. I don't care anymore. Great, they're fucking up the game even more. What else do we have now?
Oh, Mr. Albert, please do tell us what's changing.
Let's start with Silverwolf.
Okay.
After the optimizations, her ultimate now lowers the defense of all enemies instead of just one.
Oh, so it's
Wow, so now she's gonna finally stop being a shitty form of Pella.
AoE now, not single target.
Now the 5-star limited defense debuffer is gonna be better than the 4-star one.
Exactly.
Hey, it only took about 2-3 years.
Meanwhile, she'll prioritize adding a weakness that matches the type of the first character in your lineup.
Great.
On top of that, Silverwolf will regenerate extra energy at the start of combat and the beginning of each turn.
Okay, holy shit. Yeah, they buffed her like fucking crazy.
Oh, that makes it a lot easier to apply the weakness we actually want.
How about instead of saying, oh, that makes it easier, how about, oh, now she's finally not a piece of dog shit?
Next up, Kafka. After the buffs, Kafka's skill will trigger more DOT on enemies.
Okay.
And whenever a teammate hits an enemy target with any kind of attack, Kafka will launch a follow-up attack. After locking certain traces, the follow-up attack can also trigger extra DOT on the enemy.
Whoa!
And using her ultimate recovers the number of times the follow-up attack can be triggered.
So basically, Kafka's got more frequent follow-up attacks, better efficiency applying debuffs, and an overall boost to DOT output.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, she actually looks like she might be able to deal some single target damage now, reliably.
And now for Blade. After the update, he will deal damage to enemies based on his max HP. When Blade enters the Hellscape state, he's more likely to be attacked, and his follow-up attacks will regenerate extra energy.
Sounds like Blade can trigger more follow-ups and use his ultimate more often, meaning his total damage output's gonna spike.
Good observation. A change will happen to Jing Liu as well.
Wait, that's it? He just gets more energy and then also scales off max HP and taunts? Okay.
Now she'll deal damage to enemies based on her max HP.
So they're really just doing this to say, if you didn't pull Hyacinth, just go fuck yourself. Essentially, right? Because they now no longer work with the attack scalers in the game. And these are all the attack scalers in the game, by the way, guys. Huowo, Asta, Bronya, Robin. Like, the only ones that they work with now, the supports, are now Hyacinth and Tribi. So Hyacinth and Tribi are now the only supports that these two characters work with. I bet Tribi's gonna have a rerun soon. I bet Tribi and Hyacinth might be rerunning soon, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, Sunday as well. I forgot, yeah. All characters that were released, in the past few years, or in the past few months. Oh, pre-watched? Oh, they are? Oh, so they buff the characters by making them completely scale with HP, and then they're also rerunning the HP buffing supports. Yeah, guys, Hoyoverse would totally never use the buffs as an opportunity to just make more money, right? Hoyoverse would never do that. Yeah, no, they're a super generous company that has only the enjoyment of the game top of mind for their players. They would never dream of doing something predatory hand in hand with giving out buffs to the units, right? Who's actually shocked, ladies and gentlemen? Who is surprised that on their first set of buffs, they've managed to make their buffs the most predatory buffs possible by removing synergies with existing members of the roster? Man, sometimes they surprise me. Sometimes they genuinely surprise me. Smart and greedy.
Each time a teammate loses HP, Jing Liu stacks extra crit damage. After she enters the spectral transmigration state, she'll also gain a stack of syzygy. That means the spectral transmigration state lasts longer, and her overall damage output...
So Bronya's useless? Yeah, now for those two. Yeah, Bronya's a piece of shit for those two now.
Climbs even higher accordingly.
Our old friends sure are getting some solid upgrades. But with all these ability reworks, won't their Eidolons be affected?
Oh, don't worry, Professor Anaxa. Some of our old friends' Eidolons will be tweaked to better match the revamped kits, making sure everything stays in sync.
But what if someone wants to stick with their previous version of their abilities?
That won't be a problem. You can switch between our friends' ability modes freely. So
yeah, some of them are just straight up better, though.
Choose whichever version you like best. For more details, be sure to keep an eye out for...
Actually, all of them are just straight up better than the old versions.
Official announcements.
Sounds good.
All right, now it's time to move on to the amazing thing that's happening, boys, and that's our new skin.
Ooh, let's take a look at the video clip first.
Oh, wow. Even they knew this skin was not good, and they made the trailer about 10 seconds. They knew this skin was some hot billion-dollar company, by the way. Hey, billion-dollar company, and this is the best they could get.
With her school uniform on, Firefly looks more youthful than ever. And that Firefly-shaped brooch on her chest, you can tell she put a lot of thought into picking it out.
That's the only thing that the Firefly-shaped brooch, that is the only thing that differentiates it from like every other school uniform you've seen in a fucking anime ever.
Maybe she even asked for fashion advice from her fellow Stellaron hunters.
Well, Miss Kafka does have an office style. They must have talked a lot about it behind the scenes.
Even her mech's had a makeover. You think she spruces it up during downtime to match her outfit changes?
Oh, totally possible. If I had a mech, I'd also probably coordinate it with my outfit. New theme, new colors. The whole look has to be consistent. You'll be able to grab Firefly's new look from the contract shop using Oniric shards.
How much does it cost? So yeah, you gotta buy it with the premium currency, and guys, I don't want to see anybody complaining about fucking... Guys, I don't want to see anybody complaining when this is what it looks like. When you gotta pay like whatever amount of dollars for what it was. I don't want to see anyone complaining about the price of the fucking Chang Li skin or the fucking Carlotta skin. This is so bad, brother.
And again, please stay tuned for further details and future official announcements.
That's so bad, brother.
Next, let's take a look at
They didn't even show the price of it. Her base skin is better. All right, they got the banner and the reruns now. Let's see what we got.
This version's banner. In version 3.4's first half warp event, Trailblazers can acquire the limited 5-star character Phainon. And the limited 5-star light cone, thus burns the dawn, will have a boosted drop rate.
Okay.
Also, a brand new 4-star light cone for the Path of Remembrance. The story's next page is being
Why don't you tell us what it does?
added to the first half banner. At the same time, we'll
Of course. So on the update where they modified the scaling of multiple DPS characters in the game to HP, they rerun the HP buffing DPS. Awesome.
also kick off a special warp event for limited 5-star characters. Treevy, Sunday, and...
Oh, and they also have the other HP scaling buffer. Sunday.
Sparkle are coming back! Plus, 5-star light cones, if time were a flower, a grounded ascent, and earthly escapade.
Does she also... I mean, she technically boosts the attack of quantum characters, right? But Sparkle's buffs are in... Otherwise, if it's not quantum on the team, Sparkle also buffs just crit. They aren't really HP scaling buffers. Guys, they are buffers that work 100% for HP scalers. They're buffers where you don't lose anything in their kit if the DPS scales with HP. And then I guess she's for Archer. So yeah, Sunday and Tribby are both fantastic for DPSs that scale with HP.
It will return as well.
And so yes, they're even using the buffs to older units to make them playable. They intentionally changed Jing Li to HP so that they could use her as an opportunity to sell Tribby and Sunday. That is why Jing Liu is now an HP scaler. It's just so that they can use her to sell these units. Because now, Jing Liu's best in slot team is going to involve, likely, these two units. And if you don't have them, your buff Jing Li is gonna suck ass.
Well, in the second half of version 3.4, we've got another round of special warp events. Limited 5-star characters, Firefly, Jing Liu, and Blade will be...
Isn't Blade a character you can lose your 50-50 to? So, can you choose Blade to lose your 50-50 to on the Blade banner? Are these guys retarded? Why am I even asking that question? It was answered months ago.
Along with the limited 5-star light cones, whereabouts your dreams rest, I shall be my own sword and the unreachable side.
Two of our newly buffed old friends are making...
I don't care.
I see quite a few familiar faces on the list.
I don't care if I don't know what they do. All right, what else we got over here? Now we got... Oh, they got the 10 pull that they have every single patch. Pretty cool. Wait, so they got Candy Crush? And is that it? Is Candy Crush the only event they have this patch? No wonder they spent about 4 minutes covering it. So it's Candy Crush and the Fate event. That's it. And Candy Crush is a rerun event. They've done Candy Crush before. Oh, God. Okay. All right. And apparently this is all just a bunch of useless yap with characters that we don't care about. Now let's go to the Fate collab. We got to get to that, ladies and gentlemen. The Fate collab. And this is where stuff's going to get a little bit stinky.
Well...
All right. Boom! It's a little depressing. It's a little depressing to see this after Cartithia was released. Yeah, it's a little sad to see this after the release of Cartithia. I don't think anyone really cares that much.
Well, butter my fudge and call me a biscuit. That Excalibur truly shows her strength as a king.
Oh, talk about fancy visuals.
And how come the King of Knights is always stuffing her face?
Okay, you know what? Boot Hill being here kind of makes it okay.
Even in Penacony.
Oh, looks like Penaconian food is very much to her liking.
That's right. You can't fight on an empty stomach. Now, let's see how the King of Knights performs in battle.
All right, what'd she
Saber is
do?
a wind character following the path of destruction. Saber will gain a certain amount of core resonance when she enters battle. If she uses her technique in the overworld, Saber will obtain combat buffs and also more core resonances after entering battle.
Okay.
When she uses her basic attack, she can deal damage to a single enemy.
The King of Knights is cautious as ever in this new world. I see.
Wow, what a crazy kit.
She's still hiding her weapon's appearance and true name.
When she uses her skill, Saber will deal damage to one designated enemy and its adjacent targets.
Does she have the most boring kit in the game? As far as I just heard, she has a single target attack and then a blast attack.
If Saber has enough core resonance at that time, she'll consume core resonance to regenerate massive amounts of energy for herself and increase her skill's damage.
And her core passive mechanic is that if she has enough stacks, the ability does slightly more damage. But it's mechanically, it performs exactly the same.
In other words, you need to accumulate as much core resonance as possible to increase the damage Saber deals.
Yeah, I guess.
Exactly.
Are there any other ways to obtain core resonance?
Yes, there are. Whenever any ally uses their ultimate, Saber obtains core resonance and increases her own damage dealt.
Behold, The King of Knights has dispelled invisible air, barrier of the Wind King around her sword.
This is the most boring kit in the game. This has to be the most boring, uninspired, dog shit kit in the fucking game. This is actually a joke. There's no way they made, like, the popular character have a kit this bad, right? I don't even care how much damage this thing does. I feel like nobody even cares what the meta relevance is going to be. This is literally so boring.
Releasing high-pressure air in the blink of an eye to form Strike Air, Hammer of the Wind King, dealing a devastating blow to the enemy. When using her ultimate, Saber will deal damage to all enemies and turn her basic attack.
Bro Albert has to just go out here and just say random shit like Hammer of the fucking Wind King just to like hype up this boring fucking kit.
Into enhanced basic attack. Her enhanced basic attack can damage all enemies and provide Saber with a certain amount of core resonance. Also, during battle, if the sum of Saber's energy and the energy she can regenerate.
Wait, she has an enhanced basic attack? Wait, what is
to
this?
form Strike Air, Hammer of the Wind King, dealing a devastating blow to the enemy. When using her ultimate, Saber will deal damage to all enemies and turn her basic attack into enhanced basic attack. Her enhanced basic attack can damage all enemies and provide Saber with a certain amount of core resonance. Also, during battle, if the sum of Saber's energy and the energy she can regenerate via consuming core resonance exceeds the amount of energy she needs to use her ultimate, Saber will immediately take action.
So if you replenish core resonance in as many ways as possible, you can use Excalibur more frequently.
That's right. Not only does the sword bear the King of Knights past, present, and future, but it also represents the noble ideal that was held in the hearts of the countless soldiers who once followed her in battle.
This is the most disgustingly boring kit I've ever seen. Hopefully the Archer one is better.
Figure, and is the perfect fusion of attractiveness and strength.
You got that right. Director, show us the game footage already.
Okay, nice.
I am the bone of my soul.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's okay. This is probably the best part of the patch.
Unlimited, unlimited works.
So that's Unlimited Blade Works? Oh, quite impressive indeed. After all, Archer is a seasoned veteran
He's literally better than Saber.
of war.
I am the bone of my sword. That sentence sure brings back a lot of memories.
I agree.
Well then, let's take a look at Archer's combat performance in detail.
Okay, Archer is a quantum character following the path of the hunt. When he uses his basic attack, Archer can deal damage to one designated enemy.
An archer in close combat. That's pretty gutsy, I'll give him that.
Okay.
That's right, but Archer hasn't exactly slacked off on his marksmanship training since coming to Penacony. When using his skill, Archer will consume 2 skill points to enter the circuit connection state, dealing
That's his skill?
damage to one
It looks like an ultimate.
designated enemy. While in the circuit connection state, Archer's turn will not end after he uses his skill, and he can continue to use his skill until he runs out of skill points.
Heads up, the more times you use his skill consecutively, the more damage Archer deals to enemies.
Wait, this kit is literally like more complex, more interesting, and like is way more fun than anything that we just saw in the fucking Saber kit. So yeah, obviously he's gonna need Sparkle, which is unfortunate, but she is rerunning as well.
After all, everyone knows that a dual-wielding fighter who can't use their noble phantasm isn't a good archer.
Sparkle needed somebody, frankly. Right, I guess Sparkle did need somebody, because you gotta think about all the people that had pulled Sparkle before. Yeah, she's been a piece of shit for a pretty long time.
When using his ultimate, Archer will recite the classic chant to activate Unlimited Blade Wax, dealing damage to one enemy.
Apart from damaging the enemy, Archer's ultimate also grants him Special Charge. After any of his teammates' attacks, Archer will consume Special Charge to use a follow-up attack against the enemy targets, while also recovering 1 skill point for the team.
Oh, in that case, there's no need to worry about running out of skill points again.
He just couldn't help himself and had to use his favorite twin blades.
When he uses his technique to enter battle,
damn, he looks like Fei Zhao too.
Archer will deal damage to all enemies and obtain Special Charge.
Why does this guy have, why does his kit look actually 400 times better?
And that's a wrap on Archer's introduction. Now, I have big news for everyone. From when the Collab event starts on July 11th until the end of version 3.6, Trailblazers can log into the game to claim the limited 5-star Collab character, Archer, for free!
Oh,
nice.
Awesome!
That's cool.
We hope that
this is actually cool.
Every adventure that the Trailblazers embark on will cleave open the dark cloud.
But there's something also very not cool coming after this.
And become a saga sung throughout the cosmos. We also hope that your encounter, or for some of you, a reunion, with the servants across this vast universe will bring you all wonderful memories in the days to come.
All right, so let's skip ahead and look at some of the banner stuff. So we got Saber. We got her light cone. She's boring as shit. I think everyone in their right mind is going to skip her unless they... I think the only reason why you would pull Saber is if you don't actually play the game. That's my take. I think you only pull Saber if you don't actually play the game. Because this has to be the most boring dog shit kit I've ever seen in the history of Honkai Star Rail. This, however...
Light cone, the hell where ideals burn.
Is what we're going to talk about.
Radiance of Fuyuki. In addition, pity counts are shared between the character collaboration warp banners and also separately shared between the light cone collaboration banners. But neither carries over to other types of warps.
So the pity is shared or what? Let me hear that again.
Burn from Red Radiance of Fuyuki. In addition, pity counts are shared between the character collaboration warp banners and also separately shared between the light cone collaboration banners.
So the pity is separate between the collab banners and the normal banners. However, the pities between Saber and Archer and their light cones are shared. So if you built up pity on other banners prior to the collab event, useless. It's not going to work. You're going to start from 0 on the collab banners. It's going to start from 0. So if you built up your pity, you just got fucked. Just so you know. Yeah, pity builders, you got destroyed. But there are other reasons for pity builders to get destroyed as well. You'll see.
But neither carries over to other types of warps.
Okay.
Star Rail special passes for your warps?
It's because of this, ladies and gentlemen. You want to know what they're doing here? Across the version 3.4 event, if you spend a total of 200 limited pulls, you can get Archer's Light Cone for free. That's 200 limited pulls, ladies and gentlemen. You want to know how much the patch gives? As a free-to-play, you get 90. As somebody who buys the monthly pass as well as the battle pass, you get 122. That means, as a free-to-play, you're going to have 110 pulls. Pulled out of somewhere. And that's assuming you play every single event in the patch and log in every single day. And you full clear the entire endgame, all of the modes at max rewards. 200 pulls to get a light cone. You guys remember back in the day when people were throwing a fit saying we need to kill Kuro Games because of the Gilded Night Market, which require you to spend like 80 pulls, which were fully covered by the rewards of the patch. 80 pulls spent on any of the banners to get 10 pulls back, and you got over 120 in the patch alone. So the rewards from the patch were enough to cover the entire Gilded Night Market event, and people were saying we need to kill Kuro Games because of this. But now you got Honkai Star Rail players. You need to spend 110 more pulls than what you're getting rewarded in the patch to get a light cone, which is worth 160 pulls. And so if you don't spend the equivalent of 200 pulls, you miss out on potentially 160 of them. Man. And people were saying the Gilded Night Market, where you spent 80 to get 10 back, was predatory. But they're celebrating needed to spend 200 to get 160 back. You want to know how much 110 pulls is, guys? If you were to buy them from the Oniric shop without the 2x top-up bonus. 200 bucks. It's a $250 spending event. These devs, during the collab banner, right after they just had their anniversary spending event, they put in a $220 spending event in Honkai Star Rail 3.0 for their collab. Well, I guess technically, you might not have to spend if you saved, but if you saved, you definitely didn't pull Hyacinth. You definitely didn't pull Cypher. You probably didn't pull Castorici either. So you missed out on the top meta characters just so you could save for this spending event, which probably most people didn't do. And so to be able to redeem this 200 special pulls for the free Archer Light Cone, you're gonna have to spend a couple $100. Man, yeah, I bet the Fate collab is definitely gonna save this game. Yeah, I bet the Fate collab is definitely gonna save this game. Wow. Is the 200 pulls only for the Fate banner, or is it total? I think it's only 200 pulls across all the banners. But this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. These devs are scraping the bottom of the barrel to make some money. And these were the same exact players. There are players celebrating this, calling this one of the best patches in HSR history. Saying that this is the most, one of the most free-to-play friendly things ever. And they called the night market bad. They called the night market bad, ladies and gentlemen. While you need to spend $220 at minimum, assuming you do every single event in the patch, log in every single day, redeem every single endgame reward, full clear every single type of content in the game, you still have to pay $220. And the best part about all of it, God forbid you get to like 170 pulls, 180 pulls, 190 pulls, you'll get nothing. You need to get over 200. And so imagine, right? You're a player that builds up to like 170, 180, 190 over the course of the patch. How incentivized do you guys think players are going to be to spend? Maybe spend a $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 because they built up 150, 160, 170 pulls and they need like 20, 30, 40 more to be able to get the light cone? Because otherwise, you lose all the progress, you get nothing. And it's only until the end of version 3.4. You can literally see the end date over here. It ends on August 13th. Good God, this is one of the most greedy, predatory, disgusting fucking things I've ever seen a developer put in a game before. This might be the most predatory gacha mechanic we've seen in the history of Hoyo games. This is the worst fucking spending event I've ever seen in my life. Straight up. 200 pulls, or you lose out on 160 of them in value. They're this desperate to make money. These devs are this desperate. Because guess what's going to happen, right? A lot of people, they might pull like Phainon, right? Lose the 50-50. They go to pity twice. They're at 150 pulls. Most people, they might just stop for the patch, right? After they pull the Phainon and they spent the 150 pulls. But now they're going to have the pressure of knowing that if they don't pull 50 more times, they're going to lose out on a 5-star light cone. How many times do you guys think people are going to spend for that? It's going to be a lot. There's so much FOMO pressure here. It's insane. Spend 50 more pulls or you're going to lose out on a 160 pull light cone. Jesus Christ.
Will bring some special limited time discounts. After the collab event starts, when Trailblazers spend a designated number of Star Rail special passes, they can directly obtain the limited 5-star light cone, the hell where ideals burn.
Yeah, great. Awesome. Yeah, why don't they just give out the light cone for free? All right, now let's look at the last thing of the patch. They got the collab event.
Red-haired lancer destined to cross their path. He stepped forward, raising his spear and uttered that iconic line.
The goddess of beauty is the most peerless beauty of them all.
Ah, so it's that red-haired lancer.
Okay.
You got it. After the Sweet Dreams in the Holy Grail War Tournament, the genius Skullum made some modifications to the Holy Grail. Now, the Grail can load the simulated data of past striders through the user's memories. So in Fate Stay Night, Trailblazers will face off against many familiar and old friends in intense what? V1 battles.
You want to know what would have made probably the free light cone better? Is if that shit was like 100 pulls. Honestly, if that free light cone was at 80 pulls, I would have had nothing to say about it, right? If this light cone was available after 80 Star Rail special passes, no issue at all. Because that's what would have been available in the patch, right? But 200 is disgusting when you get 90. 200 is just fucking gross when you get 90. They announced another free limited 5-star this year, did they?
Even more! Later this year, Trailblazers will get another brand new limited 5-star character totally for free!
Okay, cool. Great. I wonder if they're going to put their light cone behind another spending event. Awesome. They're probably going to do that. Maybe they'll raise it to 250 next time. And then only give you 80 pulls that patch. Alright, I don't know. I'm just, after seeing that light cone stuff, I really don't give a shit anymore. Like, great. They're gonna have, like, some fucking Grail War shit. Awesome. With, like, special buffs. It'll be a combat event. Awesome. Great. Cool. I'm sure a lot of people really care about that. They're totally not just going to play through it for the rewards, because I'm sure every single Honkai Star Rail player has watched Fate and actually cares about the series. Oh, wait, they don't. They just all jumped on the bandwagon after the collab was announced. Anyways, so yeah, that's going to be that for the live stream today. As you all clearly saw, a lot of people are talking about how this update is one of the best ones that the Honkai Star Rail space has ever seen. But there's a monkey's paw here. For everything that they managed to put in, there's something fucking the players at the same time. You have all of these new buffs, right? Oh, but it turns out those buffs turn their units into HP scalers, and now all your old supports suck balls. And so you got to get the new ones. Hey, here's a triple banner over here with Tribby, with Sunday, with all those units that you need. Hey, you got the free Archer, but by the way, he's gonna be dog shit unless you have Sparkle, so we'll put her on the triple banner as well. Whenever Hoyo gives you something, they find a way to fuck you over. They give you the 90 pulls, and then in the patch, they have a 200 pull spending event. And so you're gonna feel so much pressure to meet that 200 pull spending event, otherwise you're gonna miss out on a light cone that can cost you up to 160 pulls. It's just, why not make the things in this game not an obvious cash grab? Why not keep Jing Liu as an attack scaler? Why not make the Archer light cone available at 80? Why do these devs have to constantly do the greediest fucking thing possible in the greediest fucking way at every single opportunity? Why did they have to use the buffs as an opportunity to further sell the new units? It's just like, Jesus Christ. You can get nothing good in this game without something awful being sort of like funneled to you on the side. And that's what I mean by this game being in maintenance mode. That's what I mean by this game being one of the most predatory, disgusting ones in the space. And really, it's not one that you should even consider playing anymore if you have any self-respect for yourself as a consumer. I think the only people that should be playing this game are people with too much disposable income to actually care about what they're actually receiving, and creators that are making money off the game. That's pretty much it. Everybody else should just fuck right off if they care about, honestly, the quality of the product that they're receiving, because this is dog shit. So yeah, let me know what you all think, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.